distance of a perfect fifth scale degree. Let's count this out from we could do it from the Phrygian again. So let's just do it from the Phrygian. And so, because it has a fifth, okay, so we're going to say then the local distance is going to be 17 minus 12, 7 minus 2, 7, 6, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be to the Locrian. That would be a PN modal range, a 3-7 modal range. So here's a PN modal range. We're going counterclockwise, however. But we want to go back another 12 or 17 back. 5 notes between the strings, 5, 10, 15, 16, 17. So this is still a PN or a 3-7 modal range, but we're going and negative 12 counterclockwise for another octave in the 12 negative direction. I'd like to call that a negative 17 note away from the Phrygian node, negative third modal half step, which would be the negative fourth scale degree, but we don't have negative scale degrees. We only have clockwise scale degrees, so perfect fifth going forward is all we have. We don't have the counterclockwise distance with scale degrees, which we do over here. So, but we could call it a negative 17 from the Phrygian node, which would be a compound note distance, or we can call it a Phrygian negative 10th modal half step if we want to do a compound negative modal half step interval. If I go backwards negative 3 for the local negative modal distance, 7 minus 3, 7, 6, 5, 4 would be 4. So that would be a 7 note away from the Phrygian node, fourth modal half step, which would be the fifth scale degree. If I say we go back 10, counting it out, 1, 2, 3, that 3 repeats over here, 4, 5 repeats over here, 6, 7, 8, which repeats over here, 9, 10, counting it 10 back, 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 baby. All right, let's do this one, the next one. We're going back, baby. That's not... We're going, okay, here we go. Let's delete these and do the next one. Otra vez. We'll pull this up a bit so we can reveal the next item of importance, 18 back. All right, if we go back 18, local distance, 18 minus 12 is 8 minus 2, 8, 7, 6. So that we would say 6 negative. If I was going forward, that's the weird distance, because 12 minus 6 would also be 6 forward, which we would call a diminished fifth or like an augmented fourth sometimes. That's the weird one. So I would still call this then a negative 6 diminished fifth. And so if I add another 12 or go negative another negative 12, that would be a negative 18 diminished fifth. Okay, so what's the local distance again? It's 18 minus 12, and so that would be 8 minus 2, 8, 7, 6. So let's do that from the Locrian, so we land on a continent, because this is the weird one. So where's a good Locrian that we can go from? How about, is this far enough away? Let's try this one. So we're going to say, what would be the local distance? Once again, we said it was 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 away gets me here. That's an NY modal range. I got to scroll all the way over here to say, okay, it's an NY modal range. It's crazy New York. And then it's a 7-4 modal range for the local distance. I'll highlight it up there because it's messing up. I can't see it if I highlight it. Okay, so but now we want to go back 18. So can I do that here? 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. We can. Perfecto, just like my friend Mundo would say, and he's a perfectionist, just like Mundo would do. So that would still be an NY modal range, a 7-4 modal range, but it's going to be and 12, and 12, and negative 12. Okay, so I'd like to call that an 18 note away from the Locrian node, local distance, negative third modal half step. But I could call it a negative 18 note away from the Locrian node, leave it at that, or I could call it a Locrian negative 10th modal half step, which would be the compound interval. If I say we're going negative 3 modal half steps for the local direction, 7 minus 3, 7, 6, 5, 4, would be 4 going forward. So we'd say that would be a 6 node away from the Locrian node, 4th modal half step, which would be the 5th scale degree, right? So that's going to be the general idea. Let's move up to the next one. See if I can erase that one. We're done with the Locrian. It should be all downhill from here. Now that we've gotten past the crazy person, the Locrian person, now we can breathe easy as we go forward. The crazy person is behind us now, far behind us. And so now we can work in peace. All right, let's do the next one. Let's do this. All right, so now we've got a 19 node away. What's the local distance? 19 minus 12 is 9 minus 2, 9, 8, 7. 7 notes away. The clockwise distance would be 12 minus 7, which would be 5 notes clockwise, which we call a perfect fourth. So I can call the negative distance a negative 7 node away perfect fourth, which is going to be but then if I add another 12 to the 7, I can call it a negative 19 node away perfect fourth. Okay, but I'd rather, let's count from a local distance. Let's say we go from, let's try the Lydian this time. It's going to be a little bit of a reach to find, but we're going to say we'll go from the Lydian, and we're going to go back again. 19 minus 12, 9 minus 7, 9, 8, 7, 7 back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, is that right? From the Lydian, I can't do it from the Lydian. Let me try and, is that right? Yeah, it's a perfect four. I see why. So let's go back from. Can I get there from the Ionian? Let's try the Ionian. If we go back local distance 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's going to be then an IY modal range or a 1-4 modal range in the negative direction here and here. But we want to go 19. Can I go 19 from here? 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. We can. Whew, that was close. Still an IY modal range, but I'm going to say it's an IY and a negative 12 or a 1-4 and a negative 12. I'd like to call that a negative 19 node away from the Ionian node, negative 4th modal half step, which would be the negative 5th scale degree, but we don't have negative or counterclockwise scale degrees. We only have clockwise scale degrees, which means we had to stick with the perfect fourth, even though it doesn't make any sense, but still kind of gives us the flavor when we're using that. But you could call it a negative 19 from the Ionian node and leave it at that, or you could say it's an Ionian 11th compound, modal half step in the negative direction and leave it at that if you wanted to drop either one of the measurement terms. If I said that we're going negative 4 in the local direction, modal half steps, 7 minus 4 would be 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. So that would be a positive 3, which would be a 5 node away from the Ionian node 3rd modal half step, which would be the 4th scale degree. If I count back 11 modal half steps from the Ionian, I can go, this is 1, 2, 3. That 3 repeats here. 3, 4, 5, 6. That 6 repeats here. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 back. All right, let's try another one. Eraser. Ooh, that erased good that time. All right. And let's bring this up. Okay. Okay, doke. Perfecto, just like my friend Mundo would do it. And Mundo's a perfectionist. Perfecto Mundo. Okay. So now we're going to go back 20. What's the local distance? It would be back 20 minus 12 would be like 10 minus 2, which would be back 8. If I went back 8, that would be like going clockwise 12 minus 8, which would be 4, which we call a major third. So it would be a 4 note away major third. So I can also say this is a negative 8 note away major third. Negative 8 minus another 12 means we can call this a negative 20 note away major third. So once again, the local distance is 20 minus 12, which would be 10 minus 2, or negative 8. So negative 8, and it's a major third. Let's see if we can do that from the Lydian this time. Let's see if I can go from here so we have enough room. So we're going to go back a local distance of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That would be a YA modal range or a 4-6 modal range. So we have that over here. Here's a YA modal range, a 4-6 modal range, but we want to be going back 20. So we can go 5 notes between the strings, 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So this would still be a YA or 6-4 modal range, but I'm going to say it's and -12 to show the octave, and I'm going to say then I'd like to call that a -20 from the Lydian mode, -5th modal half step. But you could also just call it a -20 Lydian, -20Y from the Lydian mode, leave it at that. Or I could say it's a Lydian -12th modal half step, the compound modal half step to get the local distance. 12 minus 7 would get you to the 5. If I say the local distance is -5 counterclockwise, 7 minus 5 would be 2 forward. So I can say it's going to be a 2 forward, which would be a 4 note away from the Lydian mode, 2nd modal half step clockwise, which would be the 3rd scale degree. So if I go back 20 from this note, just to count it out, it'd be 1, 2, 3, that 3 repeats here, 3, 4, 5, 6, that 6 repeats here, 6, 7, 8, 9, the 9 repeats here, 10, 11, 12. Wait a sec, did I do that right? I want to go, not 20 back, I'm going back 12, that's right, 12, back 12 modal half steps. Okay.